Sunday dinners at my parents' house had quietly turned into something I dreaded: monthly gatherings, wrapped in food and forced smiles, but laced with judgment. Every first Sunday, I pulled up in my old sedan to their neatly trimmed suburban home, already bracing myself for the same conversation about responsibility, stability, and everything I was supposedly doing wrong. That November evening was no different. The smell of slow-cooked roast filled the dining room. As we sat around my father's polished oak table, my brother Daniel sat proudly beside his wife Laura and their son Ethan, while my sister Claire occupied the other end with her husband Ryan and their twin girls. I took my usual seat somewhere in between, but never really part of the center. It didn't take long for the topic to shift. "Daniel's making another smart investment," my father announced, carving into his roast with satisfaction. "Tell Nora about the duplex." Daniel leaned back, clearly enjoying the moment. "Great place out in Brookside. We'll live in one unit, rent the other. Passive income. Equity, it's the smart way forward. Unlike throwing money away on rent," Laura added casually, though her eyes flicked straight to me. I focused on my plate. I had learned long ago that defending myself only extended the lecture. At 31, I was the quiet disappointment, the one who rented, the one who never settled, the one who hadn't followed the blueprint. What they didn't know was that my downtown apartment wasn't really mine. It was temporary housing provided by my company. My real home was something else entirely. What they definitely didn't know was that I had recently purchased a penthouse worth $15.2 million in the most exclusive tower in the city. "Nora still thinks renting is a good idea," Claire chimed in, shaking her head with a soft laugh. "Flexibility," she says, "like stability, is a bad thing." Ryan nodded. "Every rent payment is money gone forever. Some people just aren't built for ownership." My mother added with a sigh, "Nora's always been different. Different." That word followed me everywhere in this house. I had spent the last 5 years building a cybersecurity company from scratch, quietly, carefully, successfully. My software had been acquired by major corporations. My consulting contracts alone outpaced anything they could imagine. But every time I tried to share something, it was dismissed, ignored, or overshadowed, so I stopped trying. "The market's only going up," my father continued. "Daniel and Claire understand how to build generational wealth." He paused, glancing at me. "Nora," he said with a chuckle, "renter for life." The words landed like they always did, softly spoken, but heavy. At the corner of the table, Ethan had been working on his homework quietly. He was 8, curious, and refreshingly free of judgment. "Aunt Nora," he suddenly asked, looking up, "can you help me pick a building for my project?" Grateful for the distraction, I smiled. "Of course." He slid his tablet over. "I need to choose one of the tallest buildings in the city." I scrolled through the list, then paused. "What about Aurora Heights?" I suggested, pointing at a sleek glass tower. "It's one of the newest luxury buildings. 72 floors. Cool," he said, clicking on it. A moment later, his eyes widened. "Oh, it says the penthouse costs over $15 million, he said, amazed. "Who buys something like that?" Daniel laughed. "Not people like us, buddy. That's billionaire stuff." Ethan kept reading. "It says it was bought by Sterling Tech Solutions, LLC. He sounded out slowly. My heart dropped. "That was my company." "Never heard of them," my father said dismissively. "Some tech people with too much money." Ethan kept going, unaware of what he was unraveling. "It even shows the address. 918 Skyline Drive, Penthouse A. My grip tightened under the table. That was my address. Let me look that up, my mother said, pulling out her phone. I sat frozen as she searched. Seconds passed. Then her face changed. That's not possible, she whispered. What? My father asked. She swallowed. The owner listed here is Nora Elise Carter. Silence fell like a curtain. Every eye turned to me. That has to be someone else. Daniel said quickly. It's not, my mother said, her voice trembling. Same age, same name. My father leaned forward, his voice suddenly sharp. Nora, where do you live? I exhaled slowly. It's complicated. Complicated? Claire snapped. You either live somewhere or you don't. Ethan turned the tablet around again. Look, it says the owner also designed the building's smart security system. That was it. There was no hiding anymore. Yes, I said quietly. That's me. The room went completely still. My mother frantically searched online. Oh my God, she whispered. What now? Claire asked. Nora's company. It was acquired, my mother said, barely able to get the words out. For $250 million, double quotes. No one spoke. Even the air felt heavier. You're saying? Daniel started, stunned. You're rich? I'm saying, I replied calmly, that while you were all lecturing me about finances, I was building a company you never took seriously. Shock turned into something else. Realization. You never told us, my father said, his voice smaller now. I tried. I said, you just didn't listen. The truth settled in slowly, uncomfortably. For the first time, they weren't looking at me with pity. They were seeing me. 3 weeks later, I invited them to dinner. This time, at my place. The penthouse overlooked the entire city, floor to ceiling glass. Quiet elegance. Everything I had built without their approval. Ethan ran around in awe, fascinated by the smart lighting. The others stayed quieter, careful, polite, almost unsure. Funny, I said softly, looking out at the skyline. If Ethan hadn't picked that building, you might never have known. My father nodded slowly. Maybe we should have asked more questions. He admitted. Maybe, I said. Ethan walked up beside me. Aunt Nora, he said, smiling. Your work, it protects people, right? I smiled back. Yes, it does. He nodded seriously. That's really important. And somehow, out of everything that had happened, that was the only recognition that truly mattered. Because sometimes, it takes a child's simple curiosity to reveal the truth that adults were too busy judging to ever see.